Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out the Burnham Project on Substack. You can get Burnham podcasts, you can read my blogs and all sorts of cool stuff. It can even be sent right into your inbox. You can also watch us on Rumble and YouTube. We like Rumble better, but you can also watch us on YouTube. You can also find Burnham Podcast anywhere that you find your favorite podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the little bells, the Rumble button, whatever the service has to offer. Click it, do that, follow us, tell people about us. Thank you very much. So episode 102 Burnham Podcast featured a rapper named JAYY. Jay's back in this episode. He brought his mom with him. They're putting on an event called The Shine Show. It's going down on August 12th in Rome, Georgia, 300 block of Broad Street, a place called The Vogue. That's what we're talking about in this episode. Welcome to Burnham Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Burnham. That light right there, that means we're on. So if you got a song in your heart, now's the time.
No, I'm going to save it for the Shine Show.
Okay.
She's got 5 of the 55.
There you go. So we're here with Annie Hamilton.
Yes, sir.
And the legendary JAYY. If you've been around with the podcast for a while before, you've heard Jay. He's one of the last couple of audio-only episodes that we did.
And the youngest. Isn't he?
And the youngest to ever be on the podcast.
Hey.
And I was thinking about it when Christine Focus was on a couple episodes back. She was the first woman on here not named Jessica.
Whoa.
So, yeah, my wife's been on a couple times. But,
Well, I thought that's who it was going to be when you said it was a homeschool mom.
yeah, Jessica recommended Christine. I was gonna get Jessica on, and she was like, "Oh, Christine knows everything, so just get her on, and she can talk about it all."
Hey,
But,
what you gotta do sometimes.
yeah. So, but I'm breaking the rules tonight.
Okay.
I'm breaking the rule because I don't do like current. I say not current events. We're talking about some current events, but my episodes are typically what you call evergreen, which means you can listen to them anytime ever. And what we're doing is talking about a specific date and something that's coming. That's okay, because I love you guys, and that's how we're going to do it tonight.
Hey, we love you too.
So we're talking about this thing called The Shine Show. What is The Shine Show?
Well, it started back in the COVID, like in the midst of
You just got us
COVID.
demonetized by saying the word.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
The,
I said I wouldn't
the
hurt you.
pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So AJ, that was the first year that AJ, approached me and was like, Mom, I want to do music. And he started writing stuff in his room. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was some rough stuff. It was some rough stuff, but.
And then he just progressed from there. He just kept writing and writing, and then he did. He wanted to do a show or a song with democracy. So when we first moved here from Chicago, he heard about a young youth rapper. He was going to show up at a youth event. So AJ wanted to go. His friend invited him. It was going to be at Life Church. He wasn't allowed to go. That wasn't me. But anyway, that's for another podcast.
Right.
So then that was just kind of like what his goal was to have a song with this democracy. And so I said, okay, well, you don't know until you ask. So then he asked, and then Zach was like, oh, yeah. And then he comes down to me, and I was making dinner, and he was like, Mom, you know what happened? Zach said yes. And I'm like, you see, you don't know until you ask. So then, I don't know how.
Fast forward a little bit, yeah, we just decided to put a show together. And it wasn't, I don't think we had the intention of it being as kind of big as an event as it is now.
Well, we only did it because, so during the pandemic, there was nothing for the youth.
True.
There were things that, we were at PBN then, so Eric Hall was really good. And so he started video challenges and so for the younger kids. But, there was nothing for the youth. So I said, you know what are they going to do? They're going to just, kill their brain cells sitting in front of, the TV or the gaming and all this stuff. I'm not against gamers at all, but
Well, that's the thing. Like all the churches were closed.
Yeah.
And then even I would say even still now, like a lot of those churches are still taking a hit from like COVID and
The church has not recovered as a whole from COVID.
So that during that time, especially like when everybody was super scared and like all that stuff, there was no event happening, and then no Jesus, like there was no like
Most importantly,
youth group or anything. So
and we're created, to desire and have fellowship, and so there was no fellowship and for the youth, and we had Facebook, but even that was not sufficient. So I said, let's put together a concert, and I'm like, what was I thinking? But we didn't have a venue because nothing was available.
Right.
yeah, nothing was open.
I'm like, well, let's just do it in our front yard. So then we found I was all over the place looking for a DJ. I haven't done that for years because, I didn't have a need to. We did it for weddings and what have you back in Chicago, but here I am, I don't know anybody. And I'm Googling DJs, and so we found Kinsey, and he was available.
Yeah.
So we hired him, and he brought in his equipment and lights and everything.
Good guy,
And
good guy.
and so and he was just starting a church too, so he understood that.
What's his name?
Kinsey.
I think his name's Zach.
Zach Kinsey.
Zach Kinsey. Yeah.
Okay.
So his company is Kinsey Productions, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, shout him out.
So he brings in the lights and everything, and I was thinking, okay, there's no way I'm gonna have 200 kids walking to my house, using the bathroom, and so I said, okay, now we need a porta potty.
Right.
So we called so many companies, nobody wanted to do it, and so I guess I know it's God. So we got a porta potty, and it was delivered to our house. I mean, that site.
So now you got a porta potty in your front
It was-
yard.
It's a porta potty
It was
delivered
wild,
to their
yeah,
front yard.
it was something, yeah.
But when it got there, it was official.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah.
And then we needed food. So, I'm on the chase for, somebody who can bring in food. And so we hired Speak Cheesy.
Oh, okay.
So we had a few hundred people in our front yard, like doing a show, like college students, youth kids, people putting
Parents,
out lawn chairs,
lawn chairs.
like it was crazy. And then we had a whole fruit truck in our front yard,
Yeah.
porta potty in our front yard. Like it was as Rome, Georgia, as like
Oh,
Rome,
man,
Georgia
yeah.
gets, So, but we did that, and over the course of just me making music and time, like me and Zach became really good friends. And I guess Mom had the idea. She was like, we should do a show like this every year, and then incorporate local talent or people who might not have a platform to like perform.
Right.
So that's where we kind of got the name Shine. Was like, all right, we got all these people and they have God-given gifts to shine for Christ. So that's kind of our little motto that we have.
That's one of my questions. I was
So
going to
we
ask about that.
encourage, so we recruit. People say I'm pushy and that, I talk them into doing stuff all the time, but I don't know what they're talking about. So we start recruiting youth, the talent from the youth, because I see it every day, and I just feel like, listen, this gift has to be used for Christ. Like, it is used for Christ, but we need to, like shine together for
Yeah,
Christ.
for sure.
So, so then, fast forward to our second show, he's working on it with Zach, and he's like, Mom, what should we call the show? And literally, he was in his bedroom, and I was in the kitchen, and he screamed it out to me, and I'm like, Shine. That's what we're going to call it, the Shine Show. And,
Yeah.
and that's how it became the Shine Show.
So you didn't have a name the first time? You were just
No,
having
we were just
some
having a youth
concert?
It's
event.
more so for fun.
Yeah.
It was just because, no youth events are happening.
Right.
Zach was the youth intern or something like that at his church.
Mhm.
So it just made sense, So, yeah. Like
So
there wasn't-
the second iteration was where it got the name.
yeah.
Okay.
And, the first one was, I guess it was just, we're trying to figure out we were just having fun. And you know, we only have 2 neighbors, so we had to make sure that they knew what was going on because there was a lot of thumping.
You don't want to surprise them with that, right?
They're not young neighbors either.
Bless their hearts.
So I had to like walk down my driveway, walk over to their house, and like try and convince them that rap music wasn't the devil,
and this is a youth event, and they're like, okay, it's a youth event. And we had a neighbor up the mountain call down to our neighbor who was like 700 feet off the mountain. And he's like, oh, it's a youth event. It's a youth event.
That makes it cool, right?
Yeah. So we had a lot. And then after the show, we had a lot of criticism. Like, you know what? You guys weren't wearing masks, and you should have had a liability policy taken out for that many people in your front yard. And I'm just like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your thoughtfulness.
The amount of like texts I got when I would post pictures or whatever, they'd be like, wow, you know, I'm really surprised that none of you in that picture were wearing masks. I was like, what?
There were 2, I think.
I was like, how are you gonna tell me what to do at my house?
Yeah, right.
Like,
I'm in my own front
like
yard.
you can't. But yeah. So over just the course of that time, a lot more preparation has gone into it than obviously in that first one. So we've gotten to partner with different churches and get sponsors, and you know, it's really grown into something bigger that people kind of look forward to now.
Yeah.
Like every year. But it's just like a really cool event. And now with this one coming up, I've gotten people messaging me about like, oh, will we be able to take pictures with all the artists, or will we be able to get to meet all the artists? And it's like, people are like they're shooting for the stars. Like they think it's a lot bigger than it is, but like, well, I'm here for it. You know, so.
I remember the first show, I had the set written down on a piece of paper. And you know, Zach would come to me, okay, what's next? You know, what's next? And I have no business doing that because I have no idea, you know. And so now I'm so uninvolved. The only responsibility I have is to pick the venue,
right?
And
which is nothing, right? Piece of cake.
and make sure all the details get ironed out and everything gets paid for. So
not involved with all of that, really. It's just
I have a group of friends that, you know, are just ready to help whenever I need anything. And so they're my sisters in Christ, they're my prayer warriors. And so, you know, we get together on Wednesdays and, you know, I tell them this is the next project, this is what we're doing. I mean, and they're all in. And so I'm so grateful for them. And God has given them to me, you know, for all different, you know, times of my life. And so now I just picked the venue and they help me, you know, get sponsors and then I just do the negotiations, nail down the details, and then really AJ and his crew, they come in and they take care of everything else. And if something goes wrong, AJ tells me, Mom, what are you talking about? That's not gonna work.
It doesn't happen.
What do you mean?
Got on a tight ship. Yeah, like, well, I think specifically this year I felt God like blessing it a lot.
Yeah.
Like from, I guess we started planning it like a month ago. So like we plan it every year, but
right.
The serious, like the nitty gritty stuff, you know, like last month. And dude, I was so stressed. Like
He was so stressed. Like I've been on him. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? I'll get it, Mom. I'll get it, Mom. Like, no, I needed it yesterday.
And then the list just kept piling. And so we ended up just having a meeting. Mm-hmm. Me, Alan Green, who's the worship pastor at Sherwood, and then Zane Holcomb, who plays keys and does sound for, you know, different churches and stuff.
He's been with our team since day one.
Yeah, he's the guy. So,
okay. You gotta have the guy, right? Like we were talking about
the guy in the chair. The guy in the chair. But, you know, we had a meeting and the list, bro, it just piled up. Stuff we need. I was like, I don't know where this is all going to come from.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have enough money. Like, it just started racking up this year.
Yeah.
Like, way more than it normally does. And so I made a list. And, dude, I walked out of that meeting after the list piled up and after the meeting, I got calls. Like, it was literally like, oh yeah, do you need this for the show, or we got this for the show?
No, that's
Like,
that's not how it was. He was like, Mom, I need this, and he makes a list. I said, okay, make a list for me, and we'll figure it out. And then, I mean, the best phone call you can ever get from your son or your children is, Mom, I have a God moment. I need to talk to you. I mean, that right there is like, okay, you know, that's so worthwhile. You know, everything that you pour into him, and finally he has a God moment. It's like, okay, I'm gonna drop everything I'm doing, and I'm gonna take your call.
Yeah.
So he needed a bunch of things, and so we took care of that with the venue. But then the ideas that was, going through his head.
We had a meeting getting all the things we needed, and then we had another meeting walking through the venue.
Right.
And that meeting where we walked through the venue was like, oh, well, that's scratched off the list. And that's scratched off the list.
Yeah.
And somebody just provided that, and somebody donated this. So it was like, my list was just like, just barely anything.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
that meeting.
And before that, I had, before we even finalized the numbers with the venue, I texted my ladies, and I said, hey, I need you ladies to pray over this number.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the invoice, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like right on, it was the number. And so, I was a little bit nervous. Okay, I was a lot nervous. I'm like, how are we gonna do this? And so our, sponsors just came in and
Came in clutch.
Came in.
Came in clutch.
So I have to thank all of my sponsors.
Well, shout them out.
Yes, absolutely. So I've got Mina Purser, I've got Molly's Unicorn. I shouldn't say that. We've got Cameron Motorsports. We've got Brandon. Then we've got
Help her out, Jay.
Oh, dude, I don't handle the money. That's not mine.
Kellogg's in Rome. We got who else? I said Mina Purser. I have to say Mina Purser over and over because her heart for souls. I mean, she's so giving, and so she continues to give, and just everyone has just really poured into our show because they see that there is it's for souls.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not for for my benefit. I
Right,
don't need
yeah.
another thing on my plate,
Right.
but but it's just to see. And every year we talk about if one, so whether it's an artist, whether it's a someone just listening and watching, these artists, performers up on stage and thinking, you know what, I can do that. God has given me a gift. What gift is that?
Yeah.
Let it shine.
Right.
Because Matthew 5:16, let your light shine before men so that they see your works and glorify your Father which is in heaven, right? So that's what our whole show is based on, is that verse right there. So, we have dancers, and sometimes I wonder, okay, so why do we dance, But our church has had these events where we have block parties, and so we bring in games and we invite everyone in that block to come out, and we, just fellowship with them and show them Christ's love, without saying, oh, you need to go to church, So sometimes.
Well, I think you and Jason, his episode was, you guys were talking about that, and how like different people can reach different people that a church.
Yeah,
can
well, I
reach,
mean, you talked about it.
That too.
Yeah.
So it's like there's people who dance to hip hop music or do ballet or like do whatever, right? And it's like, all right, they don't go to church, but they'll come to this.
Right. Which ultimately leads to church.
Exactly.
And
So it's like it funnels. I mean, it funnels in, But it's like it's super cool to see an event that we're putting on reach people who wouldn't step into a church.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And at this block party, people come and it's awkward because they don't know, who we are. and then church clap comes on, and you know they're getting down, they're dancing, and all of a sudden the walls fall down, and you're able to speak to each other on the same level. You know, I'm not better than you. We're all here together. We're all broken. We're all sinners, and we can dance together.
Yeah.
And so that's a universal language, right?
Right.
So so that's why we dance, and you know, it just so happens that AJ's girlfriend is an amazing dancer, and she's an amazing choreographer. Yeah, and she can teach, and she can also teach young girls, you know, and bring that talent out. And so we have dances there.
That's awesome. But it's like we talked about, and you know, the I guess the theme is that people will come to this
For sure.
that might not come to church.
For sure.
Or maybe have never been in church before even, but you guys give them an avenue, and it's not just something to do. Anybody, you can go to a concert anytime you want to go to a concert, but this one has a point to it, right? There's a message there, and it's really awesome to see you guys putting this thing together, and even more so that people come out to help, and you know, you got sponsors and people taking care of things, and
For sure.
And you've got a venue. You have a really cool venue. Tell us about your venue.
So we will be at the Vogue on Broad this year, and August 12th at 6 o'clock, right? Doors open at 6 a.m.
August 12th at 6.
I just
At
the Vogue.
August 12th at 6. Yeah, and it's been cool. Like this show is definitely going to be super special. Like, because you know we've been in churches and stuff like that, and obviously you know it's still coming to church kind of.
Right.
But this, I would say the Vogue kind of has a vibe, like a homey vibe.
Yeah,
you know
it does.
It does. So people welcoming, you know, people come in.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's awesome, man, and it's a cool spot, like right in the heart of downtown Rome, and everybody passes it all the time, and you see it. And I've only been in there once or twice, I guess. Not even to an event; it was empty both times I was there. But I always thought, man, it'd be cool to have a thing in here.
Yeah.
You guys are having a thing in there.
It's super
I don't even know where that came from. I mean, I was.
Well, that was my next question. So if you don't know, I don't know where we are.
I don't even know. I think maybe it was a huge leap of faith because that was not even affordable. That's not. Yeah, we partnered up with churches because they helped us out, but that was really just taking a huge leap of faith.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, we've done it at the Historical DeSoto Theater too.
Oh wow!
And that was another huge leap of faith too.
That'd be so much fun though. I'd love to have a gig in the DeSoto. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we've done that. That was the.
I think another reason we like chose it was because, in my opinion, controversial. Here we go.
Fair enough. Yeah.
In my opinion, I think a lot of local churches, not all of them, some of them, don't get it. They don't.
What do you mean when you say they don't get it?
They don't get it. They like. All right.
Oh
So
boy,
you
I don't know if I have to send to my son.
Look, hey,
we can cut it out later. Forget about it.
Like we're having an event for the youth, to reach people for Jesus, who don't go to church.
Right.
You would think people would be like all over that.
Sadly, I kind of see where this is going. And I know that there are churches that don't want you to have that in that building because they want you to have it at their church. They want to be in charge of it and they want to run it. And they view it as, hey, take us back here, give me the money sign. Maybe that's what it's about. But churches feel like it's a competition. We got to have this thing at our place, and it's got to be our people in charge, and we got to make the decisions. And we won't have a barbecue with the church across the street from us.
Yeah.
Even though we get up in the pulpit and we talk about how we're one in the body of Christ and all these things, and you know, somebody's got to be the toe, but it's still the body of Christ.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying you guys are the toe. That's not what, but we view each other in different ways.
Right.
And we go, well, they don't do things like we do them. And
Well, I feel like where we're at, our church and our pastor, his heart is for souls, and
For sure.
you know, he has really reached out to the churches in the area and really partnered up with them. So I don't see that at our church at all.
No.
Yeah.
So like, one thing I love about Sherwood where we're at is it's very, outreach focus. Like,
For sure, yeah.
go out into the community. You know,
Right.
I mean that's our calling, but go out into the community. Whereas I feel like our event is just kind of slept on, like from other churches. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, why would we want to be a part of a show that has dancing and rappers and singers? Like, it's like, why not just come to church? But they don't get the, hey, some people don't want to come to church.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so this is not for, we encourage the youth to bring their God-given talents to shine for Christ.
Yeah.
Not among the, the already saved.
Yeah,
But
well, it's an
for-
outreach program.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's for the ones that are, that need and that are searching and that are seeking.
Right.
And here's an event that's not, for those that are seeking that do not want to step in church because they're hurt. They're hurt because many years ago they were in church and something happened.
Right.
And so you hear stories like that. Oh, I don't want to go to church because this happened when I went last,
Right.
5 years ago or 20 years ago. And so this is an avenue to reach people who won't step their feet or foot into church,
Yeah.
but enjoy music, enjoy dancing, enjoy worship. And so this is a safe place for them, and not having the, like church shoved down their throat, but through music, through dance, they can see God being glorified,
Right.
and then thirsting for that.
Planting
Yeah.
seeds.
Yeah.
Planting seeds.
Well, this is the dividing line there is, and we get it wrong all the time. People say, I gotta get my friend to come to church so they get saved. Well, like the church is not for lost people. The church is for saved people. Well, churches, we're supposed to gather together and lift each other up and strengthen and encourage each other to go out and do the work. This is going out and doing the work. That's what this is. It's outreach. It's something that happens outside of the walls. And not that you couldn't have something like this at a church. You guys have done that
for
before.
sure.
But to go out in the community, be the church, as opposed to just open the door and hope some people show up. I think the church misses the boat there a lot of times.
Right. And it,
I'm not going to have any pastor friends left after this episode. So.
the biggest thing is meeting people where they're at too.
Yeah.
Like God does for us.
Right.
We're all sinners, but He met us where we're at.
Yeah.
So us going into the community this year specifically is why I think it's going to be bigger, better, more special than it has been, because we're really getting out there and getting people like artists from all across the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, so like we have artists coming from Florida, from Missouri, from New York, people traveling to come see it from North Carolina, also from Florida.
Okay.
People coming to see these artists and they don't know what they're in for. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Like they don't know that what we do. So
Tennessee too.
Tennessee.
But it's just super cool to see all these people traveling to come into one spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, that's good stuff. So when you started this thing, the very first time you had it, how many artists did you have then? Two. It was you and Jay and Democracy.
Yeah.
Wow. How many do you have now?
We probably have around 10 for this one.
Wow.
10, and then like plus band members and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it's
But 10 acts.
Wait,
yeah,
Yeah.
give or take.
don't forget about the dancers.
And the dancers.
And the dancers.
Well, that's one half. But there's a lot of dancers.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool because I think over the course of however long we've been doing this now, 3 years probably,
This is our 5th show.
fish show. So
Wow.
5 and 3 years. We've gotten the kinks like
Yeah.
wrinkled out. So it's like
He thinks so.
for the most part. For the
You gotta
most
do a
part.
show and perform, right?
Hey, but like, I think when we started it, it was so fast. There was no like time to get everything
Right.
like the best it could be. But over the course of those 3 years, as we've been growing, learning, whatever, we've gotten to like plan and wrinkle out the stuff and get it nice and pretty.
Right. Right.
So I think this year is just gonna be from like a production standpoint, I think it's gonna be super awesome.
Cool.
Well, we've got so much talent in it that
Yeah.
it's hard not to be that way.
Right.
And each performer, each talent that's coming, they have such a story. I mean,
Yeah.
if we can just share, a little bit of why they do what they do, why it's music that's their outlet, or
Yeah.
why dance is their outlet. I mean, you will be just. I mean, that's why they're there.
Yeah.
Because, I know their stories, and I'm just like, God, that's it. That's
when you hear it,
God.
right? Yeah.
So that's why it's so encouraging and uplifting to see them where they're at.
Yeah.
Because of God.
Yeah.
God is why they're where they're at.
Right.
There's no other, rhyme or reason. There's no other way. There's no other way. So, we'll have, can I say his name? Jack.
You just said it.
Like, Jack, when I first met Jack, I won't tell much of his story, but, knowing his story and seeing how he can still, oh my gosh, I'm trying not to cry, like, smile through it.
Yeah.
And then to see him at our show this year is
What's his name?
Jack Frazier.
Jack
Jack
Frazier,
Frazier. Where's Jack from?
Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's coming a long ways, but and me and him met randomly from Instagram.
Not randomly. You
God.
muted
True.
me randomly.
True, not randomly, but
That's awesome there.
it's super cool to have all these different people from all different backgrounds,
Yeah.
raised differently, experience life differently, and then all come together and like have the common goal,
Right.
all of us do music and all for one reason.
Yeah.
So,
So we're talking like a bunch of different acts. Are we looking at like multiple genres of music, or are we?
yeah, so this year, we have anything from worship to rap to
Mhm.
pop, like any genre pretty much you can think of is like
Okay.
it's going to be incorporated.
Yeah.
So, and that's another cool thing is each artist has their own flair,
Right.
and each artist has since each artist has a different sound, they're all reaching different people too, which is another
yeah.
cool part too.
Right.
So you'll have hip hop lovers, they're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna have people who listen to pop music, they're gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like we're not targeting one specific audience, but the audience as a whole is gonna enjoy the show.
Because of all the
Yeah.
different genres. And
Yeah.
I love worship music, and so, we're going to have worship music there.
So.
Just because
Just
that's
a
what
side
mom
note.
likes,
That's what
right?
mom likes,
No, that's good stuff. You cover all your bases. When you got people coming, where do you find these people? I know you said you connected with Jack on Instagram, but I mean, you got people from Florida and Tennessee and Missouri. And
I can't answer that question.
are you rounding up the artists?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's kind of my role in the grand scheme of things is like getting all the artists, making sure our team has everything they need
Right.
for them to do their thing, and making sure that we have all the production stuff in order. Obviously, I kind of like dish that out to
Right.
Zane and stuff because he's super good at that. But I think my biggest role is finding the artists and
Yeah.
stuff. But most of them, what's super cool is I meet a lot of people through like from year to year even.
Yeah.
So it's like I get to grow the relationships as friends, and then I'm like, hey, we have this show that we do. Would you want to come perform?
Yeah.
And most of the time, the answer is yes.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And
But-
I get to adopt all of them into my family. So my family grows every year.
There you go.
I've got sons and, nephews. And I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Our family is so big.
That's good though. That's not supposed to be. It's not. I mean, it's good to have an event like this and get together and sing songs and do this thing. But ultimately, it's about family.
For sure.
It's about growing our family. We think of all these new people, these new family members and friends that we have, but the kingdom and the body of Christ as a whole. That's awesome stuff. You guys are out there doing it in a less than conventional way, I guess. It's not, what most people would think of right off the top of their head and go, we should do an outreach event. What
Right.
if we had a giant concert with 11 different genres of music,
Dude, it's just super cool to see how like everything has come together to where we're 2-3 weeks out
Yeah.
now. August 12th, don't forget.
August
6
12th.
p.m.
But-
doors open.
How everything has come together, and from where we started planning to now, it's like, dang, like all this stuff was
Yeah.
supplied,
Yeah.
and we're good. We're good to go,
Right.
and we're still 3 weeks out. And it's been super cool to see. So I started a ticket link for more so for me to
Send
be
me that,
like,
and I'll put it on our
Yeah,
socials
for
for
sure.
the episode.
so I made a ticket link, and it's more so for me to be like, all right, this is a rough number, so I can,
Right.
But obviously it's free. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
But
It's on Eventbrite.
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
But-
what
Tickets
all the
are
high school
$0.
sports around here use the Eventbrite and stuff.
But yeah,
Right,
so like getting to see all these tickets come in from people I have no idea
Yeah.
who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and people getting 6, 7, 8 tickets, bringing all these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another cool thing that is happening this year is we have a Spanish artist.
Oh.
So that's another way that we can reach other people is because
That's
we're
his
going
older
into
brother. I adopted him. His name is.
Pablo. That's my
Pablo.
man, Pablo. So he's a Spanish artist. He goes by John Paul. I think we talked about
Yeah.
it last time, but he's coming out to perform as well. And his community of fans isn't my community.
It's gonna be different.
you
Yeah.
know? So this year we're getting to partner with another Spanish church as well to bring them in because we have a Spanish artist. You know what I mean? So it's like bigger outreach and a wider field of
Yeah.
people to come.
Well, you know where this is headed, right? You know where this is going. This is going to be like a
Don't
3-day.
scare me.
It's going to be like a 3-day music festival
3-day
at
music
Kingston
festival.
Downs or over at the Braves Stadium,
That'd be cool.
right?
That would be super cool.
Buckle up, Mom.
Are you like prophesying our next show?
I mean,
Sponsored by the Burnham podcast.
right? Yeah, I wouldn't call myself a prophet, but I mean, this is kind of the natural progression, right? This is you get to a point where you start putting on an annual event, and you do it the first time, especially the way you guys did it, and it was kind of in a hurry, and you felt like you covered all the bases and did a good enough job, right? It was cool. We had a good time. Let's do it again. So what did we do last time that worked? What did we do that didn't? And you start ironing out wrinkles, and then you got your second show, your third show, and you get to a point where you get over the hump, and people expect this event again.
Right.
And then, are you okay?
I'm like, no, I can't do this.
I can see you like turning green over here. But it's people expect the event, right? It's you do it a couple times and people are like, well, that was fun. If they do it again, I'll go.
Right.
And then you get to a point where they're like, when's the next one?
Right.
Like, what am I gonna? We gotta go to the next one. Who's gonna be at the next one? Where's it gonna be? So go ahead and get ready. Maybe not next year.
Hey, I'm excited to see where God takes him, man.
Right.
Like, just to see his hand and what we've been doing
Yeah.
specifically this year. Like, can I tell a story? Like, is
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
is
man,
that
go
cool?
ahead.
Okay.
Is that the phone call I got, Mom?
Oh
It's
yeah,
a God
God
moment.
So we were having a meeting at the boat,
Mm-hmm.
and we were walking through, and we're like, all right, we need 80 feet of pipe and drape, which is just like the blackout curtains and
Yeah.
stuff people put out everywhere. And so we needed 80 feet, and a little something about pipe and drape. It's not cheap.
No,
Not
man,
at
it's
all.
not.
So
When you told me that, I'm like, wait, what? We need to buy more what?
and so we got to talking, and I was stressing, dude. I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna find 80 feet of pipe and drape. I don't have $2,000 to spend on this, like for rent, like not even to buy it. So me and Alan go back to the church, and we hop on a phone call with one of the guys who has pipe and drape, and we were like, so give us a quote on this. And he was like, well, rough estimate, it's going to be $1,500 to $1,600 to rent it for however long. And I mean, how expensive pipe and drape is. It's like,
Exactly.
It's not cheap. But I was like, man, that really sucks. But while we were at the vote, a photo booth got brought up. And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, that'd be really cool. Like, it was in passing, it wasn't anything. I was like, yeah, photo booth, let's do it. Might as well. So I call in my buddy who's taking pictures for the event. I'm like, hey, Christopher, you have a backdrop or something? Would you be down to do a photo booth? He's like, well, I don't really have a backdrop for pictures, but my church has about 80 feet of pipe and drape.
Let's go.
I stopped. I was like, wait, what'd you just say? You have what? He's like, yeah, we got about 80 feet of pipe and drape. I was like, so it's really funny that you say that. I was like, what's the chances of us getting to use that?
Yeah.
He's like, give me 15 minutes, let me talk with my dad, because his dad's the pastor at that church.
Right.
And he calls me back 15 minutes later, he's like, oh yeah, so pipe and drape's a go? I'm like, do we have to pay anything? He's like, no, just come pick it up.
Come get it.
I was like, dude, blew my mind. Blew my mind. I was like, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen.
But God.
But right, as that was where I was going with that. Like, how many things have to just magically fall into place before we stop and go, well, it's got to be a God thing.
Literally.
You know, but it sounds like you guys are doing that. And you understand where these blessings are coming from. But it's important that other people see that, you know, because you don't just. I've never put on a concert. We've had some events, we did some things back in the day that required some similar preparation, but like for the most part, we just buy a ticket and go to the show. And
right.
we sing and we dance, and we buy a t-shirt, and we go home, whatever. But there's so much that goes into that. And you guys know this because this is your 5th time, but you start thinking of things that you didn't know that you hadn't thought of, you know, and then even the first couple of times you do it, you get to the venue and you go, oh, I really wish we'd had X, Y, and Z.
Put on the list for next year.
Right, yeah. But now it seems like not only do you know how to do this, but God is meeting you and partnering with you in this because you're doing what He wants you to do. You know, that's how you know that you're doing God's will, because there's no such thing as coincidence. Right. Things don't just fall into place. You know, God blesses us and equips us for His purposes. Yeah. That's what you guys are experiencing, it sounds like.
It's been crazy to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in the moment you're doing it, you're like, okay, this fell in place, and then you take a step back, and you're like, wait, I was super stressed about this last week, you know, and now it happened.
Right.
So it's been really cool to see everything come together, you know, and being able to take a step back and being like, God's really good, and like blessing this event. So super excited for it.
And just I just can't wait to see, you know, the hearts that God's going to tug on, and the decisions that will be made, and you know, and it's funny because, and God orders our paths, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, our speaker, I mean, it's no mistake that Jason and I are together, because like we have so many people from Scramble involved in the show, and I didn't even know.
God gave me one of security.
There you go.
I just learned that. I just learned that Sunday. I'm like,
yeah, that's his thing. That's what he does when he's not strangling people and laughing line.
I'm like, wait, what? Who's doing what? How did that even happen?
Gabriel's got it, yeah.
And I think our speaker will be, or do we not know that yet?
It's not confirmed, but we're trying to get Tripp to speak at.
That's his wheelhouse, man.
So
that's his Tripp's a youth pastor, like by his DNA, I guess. It's just what he does. But yeah, he'd do a great job. Tripp Durden. Just say yes, man. Show up.
Just say yes. Just do it. Just do it.
That's it. Well, case closed. You're welcome. I fixed it for you.
Hey, another God moment right there.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Right.
You gotta do it to you.
But it's cool. I mean, even most guys at the gym don't go to church either, too.
Right.
So it's cool to see all of them wanting to help. Too.
Yeah.
And being like, oh yeah, I'll be there. You know.
Yeah.
Let me know the time. I'll be there early. I'll help you set up. I'll help you do this. I'm like, dude. Like,
well, let's brag on our Scramble family for a few minutes. There have been people, and they would not want me to say their name, in this building that have come in here and swept, and like, you know, we got these old rafters in here, vacuumed the rafters with like a shop vac on a ladder and all this stuff. Never been to church here. Doesn't go to church anywhere, but just wanted to help out because they were family, right? And that's where the importance of family comes in. So
I mean, when you're letting people choke you out, there's a lot of
you grow close. You really get close together when you strangle each other with your clothes on. Yeah,
Yeah, just like when we all pulled together for Saturday's event, right? Was it Saturday?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, that was just a family. So much family.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get in trouble when I say the church should be more like our jiu-jitsu family, you know, but They're
hey,
there, man.
if the shoe fits.
Yeah. So but you're getting a lot of help from the Scram fam for
sure. The Scram fam.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I think it's a Cara Broom thing. I think she coined that phrase, but
I like that. But yeah, it's just been super cool to have like a ton of people willing to step in. And,
yeah,
you know, kind of even though they don't know what we're doing,
right.
still be like, yeah, I'll come help. But what do you need? Just text me details. You know. So I think that's definitely been another blessing that we've seen through this.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Remember I told you I was uninvolved? I don't know any of this stuff. I don't even know what. What's that stuff that you need at 80 feet up?
Pipe and drape?
I had no idea what that was.
It's curtains. It's just really
Why
big
didn't you
curtains.
just say curtains?
Heavy curtains.
Well, this is specific. It's pipe and drape. You gotta have pipe and drape for the concert.
Gotta have
Because
pipe
that's
and
the
drape.
big, the big curtains that.
I'm so glad somebody knows.
We just put a higher price tag on things and make it sound cool, you know.
Right. So you guys next year you're gonna have pyrotechnics too, or?
We were thinking about fireworks indoors actually, so I think it'd be pretty cool.
I gotta take out an insurance policy just for that.
Right.
Make sure you wear your mask though.
Maybe we save that for the outdoor venue, blow things up inside. Hayden, you got the pyrotechnics?
Absolutely, I can do that.
He's got you covered.
Hey, three-day festival.
No.
Yeah, let's go!
Listen, Hayden, there was a point when God was like, hey, man, you be pastor of church one day, and I was like, never gonna happen. It happened.
It did happen.
So our call, God's plan for our life, is not always what we want or what we think it should be. It's better than that.
But he didn't say it was going to be easy either.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. But again, it gets to a point where this is a thing now. We're going to do this every year or twice a year or whatever it is. People are going to come out to help. You have more acts this year, more talent on stage this year than you've ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also have more help than you've ever had before?
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I would
There you go.
say, yeah.
So imagine next year you have 20 artists and it is a 2-day event. Like how many people are going to come out? Well, I remember the Shine Show because we went last year and it was really cool. Let's do that again. I volunteered. I took tickets at the door, or I sold concessions, or whatever. So like God's not going to put you out somewhere that He's not going to equip you for. You know what I mean?
And He's not going to strand you either. You know?
Yeah,
right.
Right.
All right, I want you to put a 2-day
Good luck,
event
Andy. Go
on
get
and,
it.
like, you've never done this before.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I think our experience from past years is definitely carrying over, you know. So this year is going to be really awesome, man.
That's
like
really cool.
I'm super excited, you know. I was talking with everybody and just hearing just the sound system we have and like, all the lighting and all the cool stuff that's going into it and having all these people travel, and it's just like, dude, like I could not have imagined this in 2020. You know? Oh,
it wouldn't have happened in 2020. Not like, or not the way that you think of putting a concert together now. What you guys did was organic and it was cool, but now it's you got a few under your belt.
Hey.
But you said you're selling tickets. Like tickets are going.
Yes, tickets are going. I will get you that link.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so it's like you don't need a ticket to come in. Everybody just come.
Well, that was kind of my next question. Was it like a ticket or is it?
No, it's more of like a RSVP. It's
I got you. Yeah.
It's like I'll be there. Okay. But it's like more so for us to know, who's coming and a little rough number so we can get everything in order for all those people. But I think right now we probably have around like 130 coming.
That we know
that we
has
know.
RSVP.
Okay.
That we know are like, we're coming, we're gonna be there.
Right.
And then the other day I was on the phone with Malik. He's another artist who's performing. He's like, yeah, my buddy's bringing his whole youth group. I was like, I didn't know that. Like,
I mean, he got in his youth group.
Hold up, man. So it's really cool. Like, we just want everybody to come. We don't care if you have a ticket, but it's just cool. I set up a little link. All the information's on there. You can get a ticket. So we can see who's coming. But yeah, that was a first too. This year is the whole ticket thing. I just kind of had a random idea, but. Yeah, so there's tickets. I'm sure it'll probably be linked or something in the episode.
Yeah, we'll put it in there. But so you say you got tickets and you've got kind of a number that you can put your finger on. Other than like not sales, but other than tickets, what kind of response are you getting from the community?
Well, it's been really good.
Yeah.
Like people have been letting us put posters up. We've been handing out posters, or flyers, I guess I should say. But then I'll get emails about people asking if they can meet the artist and take pictures with the artist.
So can they?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Of course they can. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But it's just been cool. It's like something you don't expect, especially as a up and coming artist or somebody who's performing for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't expect someone to be like, hey, can we take pictures with you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This is really cool that you're a part of this.
Right.
How do I be a part of this? You know? So it's cool to see all these people, you know, showing positive like reinforcement.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me feel a little better about it too. You know, so it's really awesome.
That's good stuff.
I don't get any of that because I'm behind the scenes.
Somebody's got to be behind the scenes.
She's
I mean,
the money lady.
Do you want that though? Do you want people taking pictures and sign my baby and you know all that stuff? No. See, it's
I
not
think
for
they'll still
everybody.
ask for pictures of you.
They might. Are you gonna be on stage at some point? Are you emceeing?
No, I try
We'll
not.
pull her
I
up.
try to.
Well,
You
we
have to.
We have to
No,
at that point.
one time last year they were talking about how it started, and I'm, you know, in deep conversation with somebody, you know, out in, like in the crowd, and then the light shines on, and they point at me, and I'm like, what? You know, like,
Welcome to the show.
I was busy talking with people. That's why I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, and so no, I don't like to do stuff like this. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't even know how to use the mic.
You're good. You're doing great. Tango's gonna clean it up.
I'm not looking at the camera.
Oh, I know. I noticed you kind of had turned away
That's
from
why
it a
I'm
little bit.
okay with it because
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
having a
fine. It's
conversation
okay.
with you.
So about a third of the people who consume this episode will only listen to it. So it's only going to be
Oh, so then you're good.
60% of the people that will actually see you. But you know,
Only 60. It's good.
yeah, it's all good. It's all
Yeah, I
good.
mean it's. Thank you for having us, by the way.
Hey, anytime, man.
But it's been a really cool event and awesome to see God work through it. Awesome to see the positive reinforcement that's been behind it, and then awesome to see all the supporters that we've gotten.
Yeah.
And all the people, even at my work, bro. Like
That's
at my work, they'll be like, "Oh, you're the Shine thing, right?" I'm
yeah.
coming to that. I'm like, "Hey, come on!" And it's social media, people talking, posters on Broad Street. It's just
We don't have a poster in our window.
we
I
can
have
make
one in
that
the
happen.
car.
We
I'll
can
make
make
sure you
that
get
happen.
one.
Okay.
We can make that happen.
Yeah, let's
But
get it, man.
It's just overwhelming, you know.
Yeah.
Overwhelming support, and it's been great.
That's good stuff.
For me, it's more of watching these kids, you know, just get up there
Yeah.
and encourage each other and, you know, and doing it for the Lord. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, you can ask AJ, it's so important for me, you know, that he remains legit, you know,
Yeah.
and that his focus is Christ and not himself. And so, you know, he'll hear me nagging, you know, are you legit? Why are you doing this? If this is, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. And, you know, so, I mean, that's why we do, that's what means the most to me is
Yeah.
to watch these children minister to other children their own age, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the blessing in this all. And
Yeah.
I don't need no accolades. I don't need to MC. I don't need any lights on me. You know, the Lord provides,
Yeah.
and so kingdom work. You know,
That's it, yeah.
That's it. And so that's the blessing of it.
Yeah. So we talked about fame and fortune, right? And then the line that we have to draw between that and staying legit. So you look at something like somebody going, hey, can we take pictures with the artist? Will you sign autographs? Like, from mom perspective, what's it like managing that dichotomy between legit and not so much?
So, well, he hears me say it all the time, you know, you need to be legit. And so what you say up there and through your music, you need to live it. And so, you know, that's why when he, you know, does his music and people, I tell him, look, you're given a responsibility. that's hard.
That's tough.
It is. And
Yeah.
so you need to make sure that, you know, the people that you're influencing for God. And
Yeah.
so that's why you need to stay legit, because if you don't and you become self-focused,
I
God,
think
I always tell them, you know, God gave it to you, God can take it away.
I think the thing that makes Shine different than just a concert too is we're not caught up in the all these people, they're not real people, you know, it's just a show, we're putting on a concert.
Yeah.
And you know, like we've been to Christian concerts, you know, I'm not gonna name names, but we've been to Christian concerts where it's like God isn't even spoken about.
Yeah, they don't miss him at all. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is a Christian concert. How? Why is it a Christian
Why?
concert?
Yeah.
You know?
Because they don't cuss in their songs. Like,
Right.
that's the difference. you
So
know,
it's
as far
like,
as-
okay, so we have a Christian concert,
yeah.
but where's that Christian part?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So with us, I think it's really cool to have, you know, a good balance of production and make it, you know,
Yeah.
because you want to enjoy what you're coming
Right.
to watch, right? But I think we have a good balance of legitness.
Yeah.
Legitness.
Well, everything we do, you know, if we're going to get on stage and do whatever, you can sing or play a cello or whatever it is you do on stage, and we're going to invoke the name of God, it needs to be excellent. The production needs to be excellent. Whatever you're doing needs to be the best you can possibly do.
Whatever you're going to find to do it for them. Not
That's
for
it.
men, but for the
Yeah.
sake of Christ.
So it sounds like you got that's the focus, and then not like the lights and the cool sound and all that's going to be cool, but it's about the message.
Yeah,
More
for
than
sure.
anything else.
100%.
And that's why I want, you know, to have a speaker to give a challenge to
Right.
our youth, our children. You know, what are you going to do? You know, and that's why we do it in August, because they start school soon, and
Right.
so it gives them something to think about as they start school.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to be different? You know, I mean, for the ones that go back to public school, you know, what sets you apart? How are you going to stay rooted and grounded?
Yeah.
You know, and be different and shine for Christ. You know, what gift? You know, maybe your gift is people, and you know, you go back to a school and you're challenged with different people, and so that's where your gift is going to come in. You know,
Yeah.
you're ministering. You know, every day. So that's why we have it timed the way that we do, so that you know it encourages you, and you take something with you that will prayerfully, you know, carry you through a school year, so that you can be encouraged, so that we can pour into you, so you can pour into those that need it. You know, you remember the message, the music, and take it with you.
Right.
And maybe we'll see you at church the next day. You never know.
Hopefully so, right? Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah, didn't we end it one time with see you to in church tomorrow or something?
Yeah, we were like, see you at church tomorrow. And people came to church tomorrow,
Yeah.
so it was cool.
Yeah.
So,
That's the idea. It starts outside and then it comes inside. It becomes church. That's good stuff. I guess we'll wrap it up about right there. But we're the Shine Show, August 12th. Doors open at 6 p.m. The Vogue on 300 block of Broad Street.
that's it.
It's
We'll
going
see
to
you
be
guys
awesome.
there.
God bless you guys. We love you. See you next time. Thank you for watching Burnham Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.